Good morning. You're listening to the Blaine's World show heard each Wednesday here on the new WPVM LP in Nashville, North Carolina. You can also listen online at WPVMFM.org and watch on WPVM's Facebook page. And I'll tell our first guest, you can wave to all your fans and friends there out there in Facebook world. And I'm your host, Blaine Greenfield, and each week we focus on the Asheville theater scene, as well as on positive news and information about people and organizations in the Asheville area. And to that end, it's my pleasure to introduce my first guest, Elizabeth Yaruss. Welcome aboard, Elizabeth.
Thank you for inviting me back.
Well, it's my pleasure. Again, Elizabeth was a guest, I don't know, a year or two years ago, but she's executive of Sage Insurance. She's with Executive Sage Insurance Solutions, a company. It's her company. She formed it. And I asked Elizabeth to come on specifically today because I think Elizabeth is certainly, if not the world's greatest expert on Medicare, certainly one of the top folks on Medicare, knowledgeable folks. Elizabeth, let me ask you this question. You grew up where again?
California.
California. So you were a little girl in California. Did you always know you wanted to be a Medicare expert?
Hardly.
That wasn't when you
No. I knew I was going to do something to help people, though.
So how do you come up with that realization?
Insurance? Well, quite frankly, there was, in 1975, there was a fight in the courts to allow women to become licensed insurance agents. So I was on the early front. I was licensed in 1977.
But before that, they couldn't be insurance?
No.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not.
That was,
no.
Where was that?
We were too emotional. Oh, everywhere. We were too emotional. We weren't smart enough. You know, I like to tell people that because even my granddaughters don't realize. They think it was their great-grandmother's heir. It was ours.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
And the important thing was, for me, was to earn the same amount of money as a man, because I was raising a son that is now a professor. He's a PhD. In fact, he teaches all over the world. He'll be in Peru on Saturday.
But you're saying that women should make the same amount of money as men?
Yes,
Can you
I
imagine?
do. Well, in my field, you do.
And that's cool too, because people can. It's based on what you do and how well you do it, as opposed to any other factor. So, did you go to school for this, or what made you become involved in the insurance field?
Actually, well, I was doing property and casualty. That's auto and home insurance, and then I started doing life, and I was in Los Angeles when we started seeing the first cases of AIDS being turned down for accelerated death benefits. What that means is if you know someone's going to die, they can get their death benefits to pay for their health care. And doctors were saying, oh, we don't know when they're going to die, when in fact they were dying in front of us. And I actually left insurance for a while to be involved for 20 years in nonprofit. And then when I went back, certainly was aware of the need for more education about health insurance of all ages.
And so what got you to Asheville?
That's a good question. I wanted first of all, I lived in Paradise, California. I was in just the most beautiful area. And I said if I was going to retire at some time, I would want to live in heaven. So this was heaven. And so that's what brought me here.
Did you know anybody in Nashville?
I had, yes, one friend, a couple, who did a lot of recruiting, actually, of inviting friends. They live in Black Mountain, and they said, you've got to come here, And I actually came for one weekend, and then packed up and moved.
Sounds like us. So when did that take place?
10 years ago.
And what I find interesting, so you switched from doing, I guess, general kind of insurance to specializing more in Medicare. What brought that change?
Because of the need. I was seeing what was happening. Every time I saw a client, there was many more clients were under 65. But when I was seeing the clients, they were in the wrong plans. They didn't understand how to use Medicare. They were being charged for things they shouldn't have been charged for. And so I realized the need for truly educating. So I've always worked from a mission statement, and it worked for nonprofit and profit. What it says is that I assess my clients' needs, I educate them about their options, and I assist them in making choices that give them peace of mind and security. That's exactly what was needed with Medicare.
Well, let's talk about it, because I remember way back when I qualified for Medicare, as you point out, I knew very little about it, but I think it was before I knew you, and all of a sudden, Elizabeth, I was getting overwhelmed with mail. It became very popular that I'd get 10 pieces of mail sometimes a day, offering me Medicare, and then we'll talk a little bit about, and I didn't have to just get Medicare, I had to get Medicare supplements, right?
You had to make a choice, yes, and all of that literature is so confusing.
It is.
There are a few places you can go to take a seminar, but I have a lot of people who say, I took the seminar twice, I'm still confused.
God's honest truth, that was my experience. I was so excited, there was somebody offering, I forgot who it was, a seminar, and it didn't help. So let's talk about what happens, again, for the benefit of our listeners who may not be aware of it or may not be thinking about it, but Medicare kicks in at what age?
All right, so at 65. So the first day of the month that you turn 65 is when your benefits can start, unless you have a disability. That's a different timing. But if you are just normally moving into Medicare, you have what's called an open initial enrollment period. And that is 3 months before your birth month, the month of your birth month, and 3 months after. So there's a 7-month period to make your decision. Plenty of time to come and have a chat. Now there's an exception. If, for instance, you're still working, which many of us over 65, me, for example, continue to work.
I find this hard to believe, over 65?
Oh yes, oh yes.
You don't look a day older than 64.
Thank you. So, if you continue to work and your employer allows you to stay on your company plan, you get to push off that time, and then you have a new open enrollment period when you actually retire.
And to your advantage, if you can push it off if you don't need it.
Well, it just depends, and that's why you sit down with someone like myself who's an expert, because I look at your needs. I look at how much you're paying. Sometimes it is much more cost effective to stay with your plan at work, if they allow it. Other times, you're paying so much more, it's better to go on Medicare. And I help every person who talks to me, I help them figure that out. What's your sweet spot? What is it? And then, what type of plan? I like to think of Bob Barker. There's two doors, door A and door B. There's 2 different styles of Medicare insurance. And by asking lots of questions, I can find out what suits your needs. Are you a person who has already coming into Medicare a condition that would require a lot of care? You will probably want to be in a supplement with a prescription drug plan. If you're someone who says to me, I don't use traditional medicine very much, I don't take any prescriptions, unless I'm, at death's door, I'm not going into a traditional hospital, then we'll talk more likely about a Advantage plan. They're very much like under 65 plans. They have everything all rolled into one. You have a small monthly premium, but you pay as you go. So when you go to the doctor, you would have a copay. You have a larger out-of-pocket per year, but that suits some people.
Even as you're describing this, I'm almost becoming overwhelmed, and I have Medicare, but like you said, when I became 65, nobody explained this to me. I was getting a lot of literature. Literature was, I can read stuff, but it was pretty confusing, and nobody's going through options with me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, a service such as yours, or you go to seminars or whatnot, but it's kind of the personal touch. It's helpful. You have somebody to call, and that's where you come into play. So, going back to Medicare. So this, by the way, is relevant, we hope, to any listeners who are approaching 65, or it can be after 60, they can always make changes and
What is important to hear is I help people starting to look toward that, but the most important thing, and that's why our timing is so good today, talking together, is that it's really important, every person on Medicare review their benefits every year. The reason is that insurance companies change what is included in your policy. Your personal needs change. So you may have changed a prescription that is not on the formulary for the next year. Now, formulary is a list of prescriptions that a particular prescription drug company will cover during that year. If you've been prescribed something that's not on the formulary, we need to help you change to a plan that will be covered. And it can mean the difference of thousands of dollars for a 15-minute conversation with me. One of the things that's important to say is it's always complimentary. No one is ever charged to talk to me. And, of course, this is my business. If it's in your best interest to change, I change you. If it's the perfect plan for you, then I get to be of service by telling you you're in the perfect plan. You get peace of mind and security that way.
The quote I use, and I may have shared it with you in the past, is one of my favorites. Service is the rent we pay for living on earth, by Shirley Chisholm. She was the first woman ever run for president. Very powerful quote, but that's sort of what I hear you doing. You know, you're helping people as opposed to, you know, forcing product down their throat, you know, if they don't need it. Talk to me a little bit, though, about the process again. So, useful if you're under 65, you should start thinking about this. Useful even over 65 to review this.
Every year.
Especially, I hadn't thought of it, as you said, if you're into a lot of prescription drugs. And by the way, is there any, if you have a drug that's covered and then all of a sudden it's not covered, and sometimes that happens, can you find policies that cover it, or can you ever appeal the decision?
Yes. So first of all, we can generally find, I represent lots of companies. So this is my own agency and I represent lots of plans, and I can find you a plan generally. There are some things that aren't covered by Medicare, so of course, in that case, it wouldn't be covered at all. Things like Armour thyroid, that medication is not covered. It's also not very expensive. But that's across the board. If your medication has changed or the formulary changed between October 15th and December 7th, every year is open enrollment period. And then you have an opportunity to talk to me, we make changes, and your policy becomes effective January 1 of the following year.
Can you ever fight this,
Yes, and to answer your fight, actually the way it works is, first you get rejected, the doctor puts in a request, he gets involved and says, my patient needs this. Sometimes they're only giving 30 days to give you an opportunity to get changed to another. Sometimes, yes, you can get it to appeal for the entire year. There is an appeal process. But your physician has to be involved, and every circumstance is different.
Can you help people with the appeal process also?
I can direct them. I'm not allowed legally to do that. But I can give them all the information, make sure that they understand what things to say to their doctor. Just like one of the things that I do for people who are on Medicare, I remind them the most important sentences and things to do so that they get the most out of their benefit and don't miss out on anything. Because sometimes, you get in that office, it's cold in a doctor's office, he's late, he comes in and he whips in and out, you get frustrated, and before you know it, your time's up.
One of the unfortunate things that you're mentioning is the fact that you said that people will get rejected, and oftentimes I find, Elizabeth, people just accept that rejection, that, and I forget this statistic, you probably know it, but it's like, in certain cases, 90% of people get rejected, 95%. Then if you appeal it, then it's 50%, and then if you appeal it.
Just to be fair, sometimes it's just a clerical error.
Good point.
So the process I ask them to start with is just check with your doctor's office, ask for the insurance department, make sure they didn't accidentally invert a number when they were coding it. That's huge amount of time. They then just resubmit and it's covered. Sometimes it is rejected for cause, but you still have an opportunity. With Medicare, there's very strict rules. So there's not that, reject just for no reason. And if Medicare covers it, if they say it's covered, your supplement will pick up the rest. And that, of course, that's depending upon the type of insurance you're taking.
And now talk a little bit about what you were saying, the supplement. That also confused me 5 years ago. I was lucky I was covered through my wife's, employment, but a lot of folks aren't. So you know, it's necessary. It's almost necessary to have a supplemental policy in many cases. Why so?
Well, because Medicare originally was a single thing. And I think we both are of the age when we can remember when we were told, when you retire, Medicare is going to cover everything.
Exactly.
And then as the years went by, different administrations took from the policies. For instance, we have a new change that's coming into effect right now. It was passed in 2015 that is changing how Medicare is going to be handled going forward. So there are, in each part of Medicare, it doesn't pay everything. There are co-pays, there are deductibles, there are co-insurance. That's why it's so important to talk to somebody like myself, or I'm also mentoring new agents to become independent. My only rule is that they understand they have to be of service and understand the way I operate, and then I will mentor them to have their own agency, because we need more people willing to help seniors. You know, the insurance isn't going to get any less complicated, and as people age, their need for help goes up. That's why sometimes at a certain point, I ask my client if they would like to invite one of their children to participate in maybe a 3-way phone call or a meeting face-to-face, so that they can start understanding the process.
The buzzword now also in the field, you said, moving into this upcoming enrollment period, was it MACRA?
MACRA,
And
yes.
what's MACRA?
MACRA stands for Medicare Access and CHIP Reauthorization Act of 2015. It was part of the Affordable Care Act. It changes a couple of things. The main thing it changes is people who are eligible starting January 1, 2020. Oh, I love saying that. Sound like, for a moment I thought of Barbara Walters. Coming into Medicare, they will no longer have the opportunity to purchase a policy that covers from $1. So you hear a lot, there's been a lot of scare in the news about losing your F plan. So the F plan was a plan that covered everything. If it was covered by Medicare first, the balance was sent to your supplement company, and they paid the rest. Nothing out of your pocket, you didn't have co-pays, anything. Covered everything. For people who have been on that plan, please hear, they get to keep it. They are grandfathered. They can forever stay on a Plan F. Plan F is the most comprehensive plan. I like to say, if you've got it, hang on to it. Now, if you're very healthy and you have one F plan and you're a little concerned about cost, we can still shop for a less expensive F plan. Now, wait a minute, how can they be the same and different prices? Medicare supplements are governed by the state. So every insurance company petitions the state on what they want to charge. There can be almost a $200 spread per month between one company and another, and it's totally what they feel is fair. So you can shop it. You come to me and we say, but the only difference is when you go to change, you have to go through underwriting, which is something that I help you through. I'll know right away if there's an issue and you don't want to change.
You're giving advice, good advice, Elizabeth, in terms of what I used to tell people about my students with respect to insurance in general. You know, it's always good to check it out every so often. You know, in terms of, you may have the greatest auto insurance, you think it is, and I tell people it's great until you put the claim in. That's when you really tell if you have a good company or not. But the point is such a good one that you wouldn't think, and you're after me, and now I'm making a mental note to myself, I should check with you, because it's easy to just fall into a trap and just do the same old, But that's quite a difference if you just do some shopping around. $200 a month is a lot of money. And it can be
yes. So, and it's not always. Sometimes I save someone $60 a month. But if you're retired and on a fixed income, $60 to $80 a month can mean the difference, a huge difference to people. And if you're getting the same plan and you're getting the same or better service, why not change? The area where it's even more important is on the prescription drug plans, because those do change every year. And once you make the change, you can't change again for an entire year. Prescription drug and Advantage plans are covered by the federal government. They're regulated. So here we have two different sorry, I can't talk without moving my hands. So it's really important to understand that you've got two different governments involved. The federal government gives you, if you have an Advantage plan, an opportunity, if you made the wrong choice, to change into the first year. But your prescription drug plan, when you make that change, you're in it for a year. If you didn't check and your prescription came off the formulary, that can be thousands of dollars.
How often should you review your policy?
Once a year, between open enrollment, between October 15th and December 7th.
Even if you've been in Medicare and you're supplemental and you're very happy with it, still not a bad idea to check it?
Yes, because it takes a few minutes. You want that peace of mind. It's primarily around those prescription drugs. So if I have a lot of clients that have good supplement plans, they send that question to me because on the 30th, everybody got their email that said, sign this, it's the scope of appointment that gives me authorization to check you for 2020. Then the next day they get an email with, these were your prescriptions for last year, are there any changes? Most people, a very high percentage, have had changes during the year. I put those changes into my system, I see what is going to be covered. If there's a more cost-effective plan, we do the paperwork, boom. They have nothing to worry about after that. They're taken care of for the year. So it's worth the 15-20 minutes to talk.
How often do people switch plans? And do you have some people, for example, switch every year, every other year?
For the prescription drugs, it can happen.
I hear you.
On the supplements, no. If they're in a good plan and they're happy, particularly, you want to get into the best plan you can in the beginning, because if you have a medical issue, you don't get to switch. Companies, there's only in California, which by the way I'm also licensed in, has a rule that says the month before your birthday and the month after your birthday, you can change supplement plans without going through underwriting.
Let me ask you a question in terms of, that comes up in our household and may come up in other households as well. But I don't understand too that when we go to a pharmacist, certain drugs are covered, but stuff, compounding pharmacists, that stuff doesn't seem to be covered. Is that usually the case, or is there
Yes.
is there any instance where it's covered?
Very little, very little. The federal government, as I said, is in charge of prescription drug plans, and they are very conservative. Compounding goes into that area that you and I, many of us in this area, believe in all types of healthcare, and Western medicine, Eastern medicine, holistic approaches. The government isn't quite that far evolved yet.
Same question too that a lot of folks have is that I understand for basic medical coverage and prescriptions, but let's talk a little bit about eye care and hearing also.
Sure,
There's
sure.
a lot of things that, especially, we talked about, you talked about dental, you talked about vision, but also hearing exams even too.
Yes, so if you have an Advantage plan, they cover some of all of that. They will cover things like maybe one eye exam a year. They won't necessarily cover everything, but they would, you have a copay for it. A hearing test. Some plans cover some cost of hearing aids, some don't. So there are probably the number one reason why people go on an Advantage plan is they want the gym membership, whether it be Silver Sneakers or Gold's Gym. They want that. People who tend to go on the supplement route know what's coming. Maybe they have a family history, maybe they already have some sort of a medical issue that they know is going to be costly. It's a different philosophy, and I help people figure out what they're comfortable with. For me, it makes no difference. For me, I got lost on that one.
No, talk about different folks on getting different
Yeah.
coverage.
It's really about what you need, and we won't know that unless I have a conversation. And we don't know if it changes. For instance, I have a client who's is a little older, has been having some financial changes, and he realizes that he can't keep up with his supplement plan, and he's really relatively very healthy. And he says, what other choices do I have? And so we're gonna talk about Advantage plans this time and see if that's gonna fit his needs better. The situation when you're on an Advantage plan, and if you wanna move back to a supplement plan, you have to go through underwriting.
And what does that involve?
It means answering questions. Do you have COPD? Do you have asthma? Do you have you had a heart attack? Are you due for some kind of surgery? So there's a lot of things to be rejected.
Do you have to go through a physical exam?
No, it's totally verbal. But of course they download your medical, you have to be honest because they're gonna get their reports, they're gonna get the doctor's reports. They know if you're lined up. It's not about physical, they've got all the information they need.
And you raise a good point. I don't think people realize that at times, but if you think you can put something over and you get caught doing it, you're not gonna be covered at all.
That's right. The MIB, the Medical Insurance Bureau, has all the data. And in some respects now, that's actually good. So I can have a client, we can have a conversation, and they give me permission, and they give permission to the government to download their prescription drugs right into the system. It makes it much faster, easier to keep track of. Other times people want to read off the bottle, every single one to me, that works too. But it is really vital. The take-home message I hope everyone hears is, it's a yearly thing, it's a few minutes, it doesn't cost anything to have a conversation, but it gives you peace of mind and you can save money.
And it doesn't hurt either.
Doesn't hurt, that's the part that doesn't hurt.
And it's not invasive,
Not invasive, just a chat.
And one other thing you mentioned, so you said Medicare open enrollment starts October 15th?
Yes.
And so that's for anybody, or it's only within the time framework of their birthday?
So this is everyone, every year. So the time during the birthday was those 7 months we talked about.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Now, every year, October 15th through December 7th. So legally, people start getting their information in September and they start calling. Unless they call me and they have something in their hand, I can't talk to them even though I have the information before October 1st. That was yesterday. It was a very busy day because now I can have conversations. Yes, that plan is not going to be the right plan for you for next year. This will be a better plan for you. And that's what we do from the 1st to the 15th. And then on the 15th, we can start making those changes. Actually physically taking the application, getting it submitted, getting it approved, getting you your new cards, and getting you all ready for January 1, 2020.
Elizabeth, if anybody wants to get in touch with you or your firm, Executive Sage Insurance Solutions, best bet is to do what?
Well, there's lots of ways to get a hold of me. You can call me at 828-575-2787. You can find me on Facebook, and I just Google Executive Sage Insurance Solutions. I pop right up. My website is executivesage.net. I'm on a lot of meetup groups, so I'm easy to find, and I would be happy. The invitation is for anyone to call, and I will be just very happy to be of service.
Okay, I'd like to thank you, Elizabeth, for being my guest this first day of Power on BLAINESWORLD show. And as you work your way out, I'd like to say we'll hopefully see you in the near future.
And I hope to talk to you sometime between October 15th and December 7th.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thank
Speak to you soon. Okay, as you mentioned, as Elizabeth works her way out, support for this show is underwritten by the Grail Movie House, Asheville Alternative Cinema. The Grail Movie House is an independent, locally owned, three-screen cinema located in downtown Asheville. For current features, visit Grail's website at grailmoviehouse.com or the Grail's social media pages. As our next guest works her way into the studio, I'd also like to mention a couple of upcoming shows in the Asheville area. And one is featuring my friend BJ Liederman, and he's going to be appearing with Kevin Spears at White Horse Black Mountain on Thursday, October 10th at 7:30 p.m., which should be quite a show. Also at Parkway Playhouse through October 5th is Dark of the Moon, a very intriguing play which I had the pleasure of seeing, and I think you'll enjoy it as well. At Magnetic Theater, coming in September, actually it's already there, I'll have to get over to see it, is The Legacy of Amelia Aldian, it looks like. And lastly, The Wizard of Oz, of all things, is at Asheville Community Theater through October 27th. Good things happening in the Asheville area. And good things happening in the Asheville area in that I get to introduce my second guest of the BLAINESWORLD show today. And she is Jennifer Alvarado. Is it? Okay, Jennifer is, I'd like to welcome you on board. And Jennifer is CEO of her own company, Peace of Mind Errands and Services. Love the name of the company, but first of all, Jennifer, you can wave to all your friends and fans out there in Facebook world. Okay, so hopefully some people are watching. And Jennifer, I should mention, is she's 26 years old. She give me permission to tell that. She was raised in New York, moved to Florida at the age of 18, and been in Asheville since July 2018. She's a mom to a beautiful and sassy 6-year-old girl, actually, and fiance to the most amazing and kind man. Nice words. What's his name?
Alex.
Okay, we can mention Alex
Yes.
in case he's listening, or Alex, you can watch it on Facebook Live. And I had the pleasure of meeting Jen, maybe, I don't know, close to a year ago, and Jen was, we met through SCORE, I think it was, and Jen was just kind of knocking my socks off with this business she has, and it's like an evolving business. I'll talk a little bit about the business. The name, I love the business, Peace of Mind. How'd you come up with that name?
That's exactly what I want to give people, a peace of mind, to know that we're here for them, being able to just help people out whenever they need it. We're there for them.
And so you grew up, you mentioned, in New York City, in
Yeah.
Brooklyn, and when you were a little girl, is that what you wanted to do? What was your goal when you were a little kid? What did you want to become?
Child psychologist.
Did you really?
Yeah.
But you still get into some psychology. You actually do with people with what you do,
Yeah.
giving peace of mind. So how make the shift then from becoming wanting to be a child psychologist to become a woman entrepreneur?
I had my daughter, and just being able to do what I can to provide for her. That's my goal. That's my end goal. I want to be able to give my family what they deserve, and being able to help people. I mean, I feel like it's the best of both worlds. I can do it. I can do it all.
Well, you can. In other words, sometimes I speak to Jennifer, we start talking, and it seems you do a lot of different kinds of things.
Yeah.
And so even that background, how do you get that background to be able to do lots of different things?
I have a background in administrative assistant, and I've always been the type of person to work hard for what I want, and so being able just to come up with just different ideas, and I mean, I get ideas from different people too all the time. They'll tell me, hey, do you do this? And I'm like, no, but I do now. I definitely work hard. I do my research. I go for, everything.
Well, we mentioned one time you and I were meeting off the air, talking about the idea that as opposed to the answer is no, the answer is yes. So
Yes.
What
I got that from you.
Okay, but really impressed me with some of the stuff you do and with your fiance is that you do like lots of different things, and what's cool about it is that you can almost be like somebody's personal assistant, virtually or in person, and that you don't have to have you on a full-time basis. It can be kind of on a project basis. Give me an example.
I've been helping a lady move for the past couple weeks, actually. All she needed help was packing and unpacking. Kitchen, her bedroom, they had already hired movers. They had a truck, they had everything. All she wanted was some extra help, for her getting everything, all the small stuff done and packed, and make sure, she had a whole bunch of crystal stuff and make sure they were packed the right way, and just she wanted to take care of that, so she hired me to go ahead and help her with that stuff. And I made a friend, so that was pretty amazing.
Is that kind of amazing, as you said, to what you do, that rather than just becoming clients, to becoming friends?
Yeah.
You've been telling me that you hang out with these people after the fact.
Yeah.
You do the job. You also help that woman, I think you told me, and you can help other people, in terms of organizing this stuff too,
Yes.
because personally I have that problem too. It's very hard for me to throw out stuff, you know. Do you find that with other people?
Some, yes, especially, especially if you're living somewhere for so long. I mean, you can't really just say goodbye to a lot of things, you know. But being able to just assist a person, like just saying, like, hey, do you need this? Do you use this every day? You know, and she would be like, no, I don't really use this anymore. Let's just start away. Like, let's just get rid of a whole bunch of stuff. Let's organize. So when she moves into her new home, she's all set and she feels like less stress, she's decluttered and she just feels a lot better.
And sometimes it's helpful to have somebody else help make the
Yes,
decisions, you know, in terms of, I don't like making it, and I don't necessarily like my wife to make decisions, but sometimes you're independent to it.
Yeah.
You don't have any
Attachment to
Attachment
it,
to it.
right?
Yet, what's a really good point you made is the fact that working with you, especially before you move, you also don't have to pay to move the stuff either. You know, so
Right.
to pack more stuff and just carry it, you're not going to use it.
I do what I can. I mean, if, you know, she has some medical issues, so I was helping, and if I can move boxes, you know, I'll do it too. Like, I don't mind working,
Well, you don't have to join the gym that way, you know.
right?
You get all your exercise.
I mean, I have a gym membership for nothing, I guess.
Or I was going to say, you bring your fiance over to come on and get his exercise for the day as well. So, you also talk about the fact that, I don't know if you have a brochure with you, but it seems that, or actually you do, and if I can just borrow that for a second, you and I have gone through some of this, but Jen, it's kind of a cute card. I don't know if people actually can see it. I'll kind of hold it up if people can see it. But it says, we are here for you, and that's, I think, what you do. Sometimes all we need is a little help. Look no further, let's give you a hand. Great title, Peace of Mind, Errands and Services Serving Asheville and Surrounding Areas. And you talk about some of the things you do. Let's talk about some of the different kinds of things. So you mentioned you can help people move or pack and organize. And I guess are you an organized person?
Yes.
I guess that would be
I
kind
like to
of
keep organized, yes.
crucial. And like
I mean, and especially with the business, keeping organized, I mean, just with like scheduling too has helped me a lot. That's like the main thing, being organized. That way I'm not missing any small things. I mean, I'm always carrying my book just to make sure that I'm organized.
well, also, I guess you have to be because you're just a little busy.
I'm all over the place lately.
Aside from starting this business, you're also still working full time?
Working part-time now.
Part time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And you're raising a
A
child,
six.
and you're raising a fiance,
Yeah.
you know, whatnot. Keeps busy though.
Yeah.
But constantly you're coming up with new ideas. I'm always impressed. You do have your notebook. And you mentioned, for example, some of the other kinds of things you can do for folks. Let's talk about something.
So my fiance, he's the muscle. So he's like the furniture assembly. He's a mechanic full time, so he does mechanic with the business part time.
And let's even take something you just said in terms of furniture assembly. People don't think about it, but it's pretty, at least for me, it's pretty complex, you know, where you get, IKEA is a great company, but to get more than 2 pieces, you know, and instructions, I can't do it, or I choose not to do it. He can do it?
Yes, he can.
Okay.
Yes. We also work together with my cousin, and he does like video and audio. So he does like mounting TVs on walls, and you know, making sure that all that's like good, and hiding all the cords.
Interesting, a lot of people don't think about that too, or I just bought it at a company, one of these things that stretch out, you know, make the TV go further to the bed, but there's a complex thing to put on the wall. And also, I guess when we just moved, so when you move, you also have to patch up walls, so
Right.
when you take the TV down, can you do that?
Yes.
Okay, but again, it's almost stuff that I guess people don't like to do or don't care to do, you'll do some of that stuff?
Correct.
Okay, so that's kind of cool. So you service a lot of different needs, computer needs also. You can help people set up their computers.
Yes, we do that, definitely. I've also been trying to do like translations. If somebody needs like a Spanish speaking, translating help and stuff, I'm here. I've been wanting to do that too a lot, to be able to help, you know, people that do not speak English.
Thinking out loud down the road, if you don't have that yet, you might even want to become a notary public, you know, because again, people don't have that capability easily, so you can provide that service to people, but
That would, yeah.
in spare time. you know.
Yeah.
You have to, I don't think it's hard to become, but you have to study to become a.
Yes,
no.
I had it in Florida. I think it's a little harder here, but I'm not too sure. I haven't looked into it.
Because I can see that be a service with people don't speak
Yeah.
English. It's kind of nice to work with you that, as you'll say, if you can't do it, you'll kind of find out how to do it. It's
Oh,
almost
yes.
like a one-stop shopping.
And also, what I like that we do that, I came up with this not too long ago, that being able to help somebody even if I can't. So, for example, let's say they want something, and last resort, there's absolutely no way possible that I can do it. I want to be able to help that person find the right person. I want to take that task off of them, like off their shoulders, and I want to be that person that they can come to, like, hey, can you at least find me somebody or something that
You
can
told me-
work.
You told me also a good example of the kind of thing you provide. They had one client I know who had some childcare issues,
Yes.
and that all of a sudden you became then
Yeah.
another thing. What was that all about?
Yeah, and I actually take him to school on some mornings.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's people come to me with just different things, and at the moment I'm like, oh, I didn't do this before, but now, like, definitely, like, yes, if he needs a ride to school every morning, I'll do it. If I can, and of course I can, I'll definitely do it. And so I do. I take him to school, 3 days out of the week, and it's pretty cool.
Well, it is, because when you think about it, people do need help.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they don't know where to turn to help or how to get help. We don't want to hire somebody on a full-time basis.
Right.
You don't need somebody 9 to 5, or you don't want to pay for it. But for a small little project, for example, again, people can kind of laugh about it, but even some people need help taking stuff to the dry cleaner or
Yeah.
stuff, doing errands or something. And it's something else you help people with.
Yes, of course. And just like, for example, with this guy, I started cleaning his house. I gained his trust, and I feel like without trust, there's no business. That's what I follow, because you need to trust a person if you're going to have them in your home, if you're going to have them near your kids, you have to be able to trust that person, and being able to just be able to give that to people, it means a lot. I just went from cleaning his house to taking his kid to school, and that's a lot. That's trust, and it means a lot.
But what I really liked and was impressed by some of the stuff you do, that all of a sudden too, you became your own Uber business. You told me you had to take somebody to the airport.
Yeah, I took someone to the Charlotte airport. So he's actually a neighbor of mine now, and he had family. He has his own business, so he can't really be gone for too long. And so he asked me to pick up his daughter and his father from the airport. So I drove to Charlotte, and I picked up his family, and I brought them back. It was pretty cool. I'm doing a lot of different things, and I'm always doing something different, and I love that.
And what's nice about that too, it's kind of, and I believe this is what marketing is, not necessarily high tech, but it's high touch. So
Yeah.
you're giving kind of a personal touch to
Mhm.
things, whereas if you go Uber, nothing wrong with that, but you don't know the person you're getting involved in. Here, you know the person you
do.
work with in
Right.
the past. Let me ask you, that's something I don't know if you've done yet before. I know you take people to doctors and medical procedures. Will you do my blood work for me? Can I have you? So then I'd hire you tomorrow. But I don't want the urine sample, the blood. I draw the line on it a little bit. Where do you see yourself? So it's just fascinating. It's like I talked about this. It's you have this whole list, and one of the things I like you've done with this, Jen, too, and people should use both sides of a business card or a flyer, wherever they have. So Jen talks about her business on front, and she talks about you have a great thing here, peace of mind, errands and services. You give a lot of examples of some of the stuff you do, and then you say the real key and much more.
Yes.
And then call us today. Let's talk about some other things. You mentioned even like grocery shopping, but certain people don't like.
Oh, I've
Oops.
had a lady called me not too long ago. She lives far, and she doesn't live too far. She lives maybe 45 minutes away from her daughter, and her daughter was really sick. And the good thing is that you can call me whenever. I'm like a 24/7 type of thing right now. And it was like 10 o'clock at night, and she just wanted some medication picked up for her daughter. She was sick, and she just, her daughter couldn't get out of bed at the moment. And so we did that. We went ahead, Publix, CVS, I went and picked up some stuff and brought them over to her. And it was pretty cool, and the lady was very thankful. She was very appreciative because, it was late.
I was going to say, where do you get that kind of service at 10 o'clock?
Yes, exactly. And I want to be able to be there for people. I don't want to say no. I mean, even if I was open only till 5, I don't think I could say no to them.
It's really useful to me because I'm saying to myself, if I want a moon pie at like 11 o'clock at night,
Yes.
give you a call.
Yes.
And what moon
Yes,
pie?
yes, I'm there.
Okay, kind of thing. And I'll even treat you to one,
Yes.
one as well too. In addition, and I just love how you're evolving this. You also provide cleaning services for some people.
Yes, I'm doing Airbnb cleanings.
Oh, you really?
Yeah.
Oh, what a great concept.
Yeah, it's really fun. Airbnbs are usually clean. People take care of other people's things, and so it's my quiet space during the day because I go in there, I clean, I do my thing, I get out of there, and I always email the owner, like, if you think I can do something better, please tell me. I don't take criticism the wrong way. I'm learning also, and if you think that I can do something better, then I'll definitely work with you, and just tell me, and then I'll do it.
And you raise a really good point, I think, there, Jen, too, that if there are things out there that people don't necessarily like doing, that they can't do it, but certainly cleaning an Airbnb wouldn't be my favorite activity. And I really think that you provide a valuable service that help people do the stuff that they may not want to do or like to do, and gives them more time to do stuff they like,
Right.
like to do.
For example, the owner of this Airbnb, he works full time, and being able to just have that person to come in and clean, and again, it comes with trust. I mean, he just the first time his wife would come often to just make sure that I was doing okay, but now I go in, I have the code for the house, and I go in, I come out, I do my thing, and I'll email them when I'm done, and that's it. I feel like trust, to.
You also help with pets.
Yes.
What do you do with pets?
Walking them, taking them to and from appointments, to the groomers, to whatever, if they need any assistance with that, if they need, I have a client now that I go walk her dog, whenever she can't, let them out, and they just, I'll stay with them for a little bit, I'll snuggle them up, and.
Well, I guess it's key. You have to hopefully like pets. So
Yes,
do you like
yes.
Pets?
Yes,
Good.
and with this lady, she had me come in first to make sure that her dogs liked me. So, there's, people are very, they're very safe with their animals the way they should be. And she wanted me to come in first, that way, she can tell if her animals like me or not. And so it's been great since then. She leaves, and so I have the code to her house, and she'll tell me, Jen, can you come over today and walk, the dog? And I'm like, yes, of course, and then I'll do it.
And that's the same thing, I guess, with kids too.
Yes.
I assume you like kids.
I love kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to help out childcare
Yes.
times or watching a child, or sometimes it's only one time was kind of cool. You were able to have the child play with your daughter also.
Yes, that's also the guy I take him to school every mornings. Sometimes he just needs extra help, and so I'll take his son for a couple of hours on Saturdays and Sundays, and I'll take them to do stuff. I'll take them to the park. We'll just go to like different places. Mountain Lodge is a little kid's place. We do that. If I have somebody's kid, I definitely try to make the best out of it. So the kid can get comfortable, and also just a safe environment, because it is somebody else's kid, is not my kid, and so that's all I want. I want them to be and feel safe at all times.
What motivates you?
My family, definitely, my fiance, and then Annabelle. I want to give them everything that they deserve. They're amazing people, and so I want to be able to just provide for them. And I come from a single mom, so I didn't have it all. and I don't expect from my family to have it all, but I just want to be comfortable. And if my child says, I want to do ballet, like she tells me every weekend, you know, I'm like, yes, let's do that, you know, or I want to do gymnastics now, so yes, let's go ahead, let's do that. That's all, you know, that I want.
Is your fiance supportive of this?
Very, 100%. I have the best support system, which is why, you know, this is so exciting to me too, because I wouldn't be able to do it without him. A lot of the things I wouldn't be able to do it without him. You know, I can't do it. I mean, I can do it alone, but just having somebody pushing you every day and telling you, yes, you can, you know, you're fine, you know, do it, you're capable, that's everything.
Well, and what's impressed me about this, I guess, growing business is that how you brought in other people as well. So you mentioned your fiance, and you told me once you have a cousin who helps out, and you have other people. So it seems this business, you know, which is incredible. I just tell the story. The very first time I met you, it's a great idea. I told you, I said, I would really like this idea.
We've even cleaned out a farmer's shed between my fiance and my cousin.
But what was so cool about this, I think, and to give you credit, is when we first spoke, you were talking about you were going to do this in 6 months or something.
Yeah.
I said, why don't you just start doing it, you know? And it just seems within the last 6 months, there's been tremendous growth on this.
Yeah, it's I didn't expect to be where I am for like another year and a half. But I'm happy. It's you know, I get nervous sometimes because, you know, it's like I need to get clients, I need to do this, I need to do that, and I'm trying to focus on everything, but I feel like everything's falling into place, and it's awesome. I'm really happy.
When we have this discussion next year, where do you see yourself going? Like, what's your goal, say, next year and then 10 years from now?
I want to be able to provide jobs for people. I want to be able to grow enough that I can hire people that, you know, that would want to do this type of work with me. I'm always going to be involved. I'm always going to be hands-on. This is, you know, my other baby. So I'm always going to be definitely involved. I'm always going to be the person people come to. But I also want to provide jobs for other people. I know there's people out there, you know, that need jobs. And I want to be able to be that person to help. I mean, you know, single mothers needing some extra work. I want to be able to provide that for them.
Do you see this growing beyond that? I mean, I'm really thinking out loud. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, that you could be doing this, you know, I don't know, franchises word or just expanding this, but I could see other areas needing your services or needing this kind of service.
I'm up for it. I'm ready for what's coming. It's growing quick. It's definitely growing quick, and I'm excited. So I'm up for everything. I'm up for.
How do you do it though within you're talking about 24/7 day kind of thing, you know, that you probably don't get much sleep?
You know, I haven't. I haven't had many late nights. Feel like maybe people respect that, but I don't mind it. Again, it's like my daughter. You know, when she was little, I wouldn't get a lot of sleep. This is like my other baby. I'm definitely enjoying this, so it's not a hassle. It's not like I'm hating to get up at 10 o'clock at night or 11.
Well, part of the fun of it, I think, is the fact there's always something different.
Yes.
The thing that's like most overwhelming me is that, you know, you probably need some roller skates also for you and your fiance. You know, go from one to the next and next, and the job, and your daughter, and then this. So it keeps you busy.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm definitely having fun with it though.
If any of our listeners are thinking about starting their own business, be it your business or something similar, do you have any advice to them? What would you tell them?
Go for it. Don't stop. Do what you want. Don't give up. So there's some days that I just want to be like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. And also make sure you have good support system, because as those people will tell you, like, yes, you can. You got this. And so having, people rooting you on, that's everything too.
And how about giving a plug for Asheville Score, for example? Is that an organization to check out?
score is amazing. It honestly, it also gave me that push. Like, you know, like I didn't think I would be where I am today, but just with you guys saying like, no, 6 months, you know, like less than that. I was like, it's really got me thinking, like, okay, yeah, okay, I can do this.
I remember when we first met, exactly, you had this great idea and we told you this, and you said, well, I want to do it in 6 months from now or whenever, and I have to do this, I have to get my business card, I have to do this. I said, no, just do it.
Yeah.
And which again, back to the card, this evolved, you know, and it'll change 10 times, you know,
Yes.
and then we'll add more stuff to it as well. So you mentioned AshevilleScore.org if anybody's interested in finding out
Yes.
more about Asheville Score. Also, I'll invite you to this. I'm doing a seminar, I guess next month on marketing.
Okay.
Asheville has a series of weekly seminars. They're all free. Love to have you or other people come out to that as well. But come out to that session. I think
Okay.
you'll enjoy it as well. You talked about going forward on this. Is this the first time you've been on the radio?
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
And Facebook Live too?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. And you survived the experience.
I did.
You survived the experience so far. Yeah, we have about 3 minutes. Do you have anybody watching or?
Maybe my fiance probably. He's
Right.
well listening.
Okay, or I'll mention you can watch throughout the day on Facebook Live. We'll also get you a YouTube clip of this.
Okay,
So
cool.
we'll make you a star. Do you ever I think you'd be good at this as well. Do you belong to any networking groups or women's networking groups?
No.
Because we should
Yeah.
talk about that, because again, just to get your story out to as many people as you possibly can, I think it'd be beneficial to you. You
Yeah,
know,
I'm up for it. That'd be really fun.
there's some women networking groups or women's groups, you know, might help you just get the story. The more you tell the story.
Yeah.
When people meet you for the first time, and you and I may have talked about this, you've heard the term elevator pitch. You know, they meet you on a plane or they meet you at a party or something, and you introduce yourself. What's your elevator speech? What do you tell them? What do you do?
I'm very shy.
That's right.
At
Yeah,
first.
wait, so if you want somebody who's shy, you can hire you as well. You want a professional shy person.
I get out of it pretty quick. But I'm always the type of person to be smiling. I feel like people always come to me. I'm very, like, I attract people. I just, you know, I guess it's just the way I am.
And when you think about this, we'll talk about it off the air. But again, when you meet somebody, I guess you help. What you say, we are here for you. I guess when you think about it, you help make people's lives easier. You know, that's your goal. If you can do anything to make things easier for you, give Jennifer a call.
Yes.
Right? If anybody wants to get in touch with you, let's talk about some of the ways to do so. Best bet is to do what?
Call me. I do texting too, emailing, Facebook. Facebook is
And so
the
if they want to call you, how do they call you? What's your phone number?
929-247-9655.
I'll have you get used to, you know, you're on radio, TV. And what's that number again, Jen?
929-247-9655.
And by the way, so if you also want to hire Jennifer as a professional voiceover or, you know, radio
Yeah.
voice, she'll do that as well. You mentioned on Facebook, how do you find you?
It's at POM, M as in Mary, Aaron's, ERRANDS, and then that's how
And lastly, spelling of your last name?
Alvarado, AL, V as in Victor, ARADO.
So if you want to find Jennifer Alvarado, you can find her. I'd like to thank you for being my guest this second
Thank
half of the
you.
Blaine Talk Show. Also to Elizabeth Yaruss, my guest on the first half hour. Also to Amy Personage, my producer, and to Zuzu Welch, who provided the music you heard at the beginning of the show, and you'll now be hearing at the end. Please join me next Wednesday at 9 a.m. here on the new WPVM LP in Asheville, North Carolina.